What's up, everybody? This is Big Russ for Road Trippin' RC. As you can tell, different environment. Today, I'm going to install this link kit from MOFO RC on my Defender. And everybody's like, why do you want to modify your Defender? I like it better than the Bronco. So, got these nice brass MOFO RC high clearance links to go on the Defender. I've already pulled the skid plates off the Bronco because it's a stock rig. No need for it. It's going to be my baseline for everything we do to that. So, as you guys know, I did wheels and tires already. I'm not expecting huge gains because I am still running the stock shocks. I've not found a set of shocks yet that I want to pull the trigger on. There's a bunch of different ones out there. I'm doing my research so I buy the right ones the first time. And this project's gonna be a little harder today because I left my 5mm socket at the house. Thought it was in my backpack. It ain't. I've already dumped it, looked through everything. So I'm gonna have to take all 6 screws out of each wheel just to get access to the hardware on the front axle and the rear axle. So give me a minute. I'm gonna get one side disassembled and I'll be right back. Alright, so as you can see, I still have the hubs on my axles, front and rear, because I can't take the nut off. Now, supposedly, it's a real quick, easy install, and it looks like you have to take your shocks off, the lower mounts anyways. So if you're gonna upgrade your shocks, now would probably be one of the better times to do it. And while I'm doing the front, I'm gonna go ahead and put on my skid plate because you have to have the link mounts pulled to mount the skid plate. On the rear, your battery tie down, okay, actually covers the screw on the passenger side of the vehicle or driver's side, depending on, if you're overseas or not. So the right side of the vehicle. And as you can see, I've got my Antiqui driver set with me. I just grabbed 2 that I needed to do this. Super easy. I love this kit. They're not overly expensive, but if you can find a set, get them. I bought these, I think, at a mom and pop RC shop years ago. And you see, it's almost effortless. So, I got my first link out. There's no marks on these, what goes where. But looking at pictures online, that would be your front lower link. And because I'm that guy, I'm gonna make sure that the logo is out. Spent good money on them. And if you come up on my rig and you ask me what parts are on it, you're gonna be able to tell what parts are on it. So, and it looks like MOFO only put the markings on one side, which, hey, y'all do you. MOFO, if you're seeing this, it would be nice to have them etched on both sides like other companies do. Mainly because that gives the people shopping an idea of what they're buying when they're looking at other people's rigs. Um, the upper links mount to the servo mount, which means the servo is probably coming out. The next mod for this will be when the servo goes out. I will be buying a billet servo mount for my truck because, let's face it, stock stuff sucks. And this is all real time. I'm not speeding anything up. I'm not. The only thing you can't see, I've got it sitting on my leg just for balance. And it's going to be this little guy right here. Just kind of wiggle it in. Okay. My drive shaft is already split apart, so no biggie. I can fix that real quick. Traxxas kudos on the drive shaft design with the CVs. I love it more than my SCX24's design. And the simple fact that as I'm moving stuff around, it's not like flopping every which way. So, and I got lucky. The upper mount actually clearly shows the MOFO RC logo. And while I'm at it, I may as well go ahead and do the other side because they share the same nut or the same bolt through the servo mount. If you get confused, it's the longest screw you're gonna have. And I've got sand coming off my chassis from that video at Fort Fisher. Oh. Yeah, that's correct. Downside is if you put the wrong one in, it's kind of a pain to get out. Now I will say, like the 3-link kit on the SCXs, probably a little easier to install, especially when you're getting into where the servo mount is. But again, just take your time. It's not rocket science. Everything has a spot to go. And this is pissing me off. Trying to line up everything on the front axle. So what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and remove this bottom link. Because it's got to come off anyways. Okay. So that's out of the way. That's out of the way. That's that. That's that. I've had enough dirt in my mouth today. Okay. Realign the drive shaft. And guys, if you get your drive shaft out of phase, It's not a big deal. You can easily fix it. Um, and what I mean by that is the pins on the trans side and the front diff side need to be lined up. That's in phase. And if you don't, you'll get a lot of vibration in your drive line, and it sucks. Um, Completely correctable. You just take the easiest way I found is just go to your front diff, disconnect it, spin your tires to realign with the transmission, and then put the pin back in. And like I said, it's not overly difficult. It can just be a pain when it happens because you're like, what did I do? Oh. And yeah, time to get this, try to line it up. So what you can't see is I'm trying to get this ball socket to line up in the frame rail here with the mount. It's tight. Like MOFO RC, these links fit so well. They're nice and tight. I have no complaints with that at all. And just kind of wiggle it until you can get the screw started. Now when you're installing these, the flat part goes towards the frame, the kick down goes to your axle. Okay, it seems odd, but that's how it goes. It's not extreme or anything. And the beauty of a high clearance kit is your link sits a little higher than the factory ones. And I'll show you here in a second once I get this passenger side on in comparison to the rear. Well, I say on, but it's not going to be on until I get the skid plates in. Uh, the cool thing with these, as you use them and abuse them, you're going to start seeing that brass come through. So if you can see, my lower link here it's just straight, where on this side it kicks down. So when it goes to articulate, my links aren't going to hit like they would on the stock ones. And I will show you. Let's see if this one has any damage on it. Yeah, there's a little bit. It's hard to see, but there's some scuffs on this. The rears, you can definitely see some scuffs. The whole idea behind it is that when you're crawling over stuff, dragging up whatever you're trying to crawl, these hit, and you don't bind up. That's the big key with a clearance kit like this, is just to prevent binding. And as you see, the hot storm skid plate just pops right on. They are really tight fitting, so you may have to kind of massage it a little, just wiggling it back and forth, side to side, whatever, just to get them to seat. but it's not a hard job to do. If you're buying this for like your 10-year-old, they may need a little help because they don't have the hand strength as we do. Um, yeah, so here's a good side by side comparison. So you see how much lower that rear one sits toward compared to the front. So the high clearance gives me that extra little oomph that I need to clear. And I'm gonna have to loosen these screws up a little. It's really tight. It's not a bad thing. So, keep that in mind when you're putting these together. You can put them in a little too tight where they bind up, and it's just as easy as just kind of backing everything out like a quarter turn. Okay. So much smoother because they're not binding up. And I'm gonna have to fine tune it. It's not a huge deal for me. So I'm gonna get the rest of this put in, and I'll catch back up with you. All right. Just for the ground clearance, I did it for the weight. Um, get this out of the way. So as you can see, it did push the Defender up a little more, which is not a good thing with these trucks. The Defender is very top heavy, but as you can see, that's full compression, and they're about even. So that's saying something. So the cool thing is these trucks mechanically are identical. The parts that you put on the chassis on this fit this Traxxas Bravo. I wish Axial had done that. You've got what, 3 different chassis kits just for the SCX 24s alone, which, hey, fine by me. You've got a short kit, a medium kit, and a long kit. These two, I can swap the bodies all day long. Might look a little funny with the Bronco bumpers on the Defender. The Defender bumpers might look okay on the Bronco. So we'll do a quick static test. What you can't see is that back tire's off the ground completely. Okay. So let's get this where we can see what's going on. Okay. Let's move this over. It's off the ground, but it ain't nowhere near as bad as the Defender or the Bronco. These kits, these links, I'm very impressed with the weight. These plastic links, they're fine. They slide good, but they have no weight. And with what I want to do with this rig, I need weight. More so on the front end than the back end. Now, this truck, I'm not gonna cut up. I love the green Defender body. I think it looks great, especially with the battle scars I've already got. I am gonna buy another body for this, and I'm gonna build a custom rig out of it. This will be a crawler, trail truck, you name it. Eventually, like comp rig. Wow. That stays to be my baseline. There's only 2 mods on this. Okay, I took the skid plates off. I've got the Pro Light kit, wheels and tires. These tires are the same size as factory. The only difference is these are beadlock wheels and they have a little weight to them. I dare say these wheels weigh a little more than these. But if either one of these were in my driveway, I would not be upset. So I'm gonna leave it here. I would go test them right now, but it is storming and I ain't trying to be out in that mess. So keep the sticky side down, keep crawling, keep them sideways, whatever you do, keep having fun.